Fine, Christian, I'll drink alone. But welcome back to another Sippin With Sin episode, a podcast where we talk about stuff and things and stuff and everything pertaining to everything important and awesome within the world. It's just science. It's proven. It's a fact. Number one podcast about that. True stuff. It's analytics. I don't know. You can't argue it. Well, welcome back for another week. We have a fun one ahead, and we're excited to discuss some topics with you. Hopefully there will be no technical issues. Last week was riddled with it. We did the best we could with the edit and to make everything kind of flow for you out there. So hopefully that turned out well, and hopefully we won't have to do it this week. But let's bring back our esteemed colleague, the one, the only, Christian.
What's up, everyone? I do indeed have a drink. I have a liquid death, but it's not the typical liquid death. It is called Grim Leafer. Pretty new to me. I don't know if you guys already had it, if you even drink liquid death, but it's a tea instead of a water, and it's it's not bad.
No free shout outs over here. Man's plugging.
No free shout outs. I mean, if you want liquid death, if you want to sponsor us, by all means.
I like water. Especially metal water.
I drink liquid death all the time. I can tell you all the reasons why you should be drinking it. But to get back on track, it's been a very stressful week for personal reasons for me. But I'm here and I'm ready to talk about what I've been doing and what we're getting into this week.
That's right. So let's just go ahead and dive right into that. I didn't do a lot, so I'll go first and just kind of get that out of the way. But what we're doing, if you're new to the podcast, your first time listening, if you're a returning viewer, just bear with us because you know what's coming up. We like to talk about what we've been reading, listening to, watching, playing this past week. So I have played some Resident Evil 4, some more of it, and it is so good. God, that game has been so good. I just got to the castle. We've been having a lot of internet issues, so I'm just now getting to the castle because it's been messing up my whole stream ordeal. And I've been loving it. It's been super fun. I've been really, really enjoying it. The game looks stunning. It's just overall great experience. Really, really having fun with it. Really glad to be playing through it again. So I've been doing that. We've been streaming on Kick. Kick has been pretty awesome so far. I can't lie. It is literally like Mixer, where I was a partner over there for a couple years, and Twitch had a baby. And it's like Twitch UI, but Mixer vibes with community. It's been freaking so fun. I've really, really, really enjoying it. It's in beta, so there's more features coming. But everything works pretty freaking good already. Really liking it. And if you want to check it out, kick.com/IamSinister. Just saying, just plugging it out there. You know, when the internet's not acting like complete boo-boo shoes and screwing up our mojo. Other than that, we watched Wrestlemania over the weekend, and I'm proud to say I think our picks were almost identical. I don't think we had many picks that were opposites, did we?
Not maybe one or two, but pretty much all the
same. I think based on picks, I went like, what was it, 8-12 or something? I think we missed the Finn Edge match. We both picked Finn and Edge won. We picked Asuka and Bianca won. We picked.
That really hurts me because they have. Man,
she's 0-5. Did you know that?
Asuka,
she's 0-5 at WrestleMania. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Like, ever since Asuka dropped the belt when she did hold the title, they've been jobbing her out. And dude, I at this point, I kind of just hope that her contract expires and then she could just go somewhere else where they're treating her with the correct amount of respect. Because like, I'm glad that she got to go to WrestleMania, like awesome. But if you really look at her story and what's been going on with her, they've been jobbing her out so much since she lost the title, and it's kind of makes my stomach hurt. I don't feel very good watching an Asuka match because I already know that she's gonna lose going in, and it really fucking blows. They treat her kind of how they used to treat Liv Morgan before her, big blow up. And it's like I said, man, it's just sad. It's sad.
I think the other matches we missed was Intercontinental. I think we both picked McIntyre actually, and Gunther won it. And then I think I picked Omos. I think you picked Lesnar, didn't you?
I believe I picked Lesnar.
Yeah, and so I missed the Omos one because I thought they might have tried to push him. Maybe I picked him. I don't really remember, honestly.
No, you picked him for sure. I remember that.
Yeah, I was trying. I don't know. Thought maybe they'd do a push or something, but yeah. So that's the misses. Roman won. That was a good match. Did you see Finn's head? How bad it got split open?
I did see that.
It was gnarly. They had to stop the match to like kind of. I think they like stapled him or sutured him up a little bit to help him like get through the match, so he wasn't just like gushing blood the whole time, which kind of took some of the momentum out of the match. But dude, that was a crazy physical match. Like they both got scuffed up pretty good. But it was a fun 2 nights. Fun 2-night event. We had Baby Mania, as we had 2 other babies very close to Baby Sin here for Saturday Night's Mania, and it was this pandemonium of babies running around causing shenanigans. So that was fun. And then other than Mania, and that was our quick recap of the stuff. If you want to know our picks, then listen to the previous episode, and you'll hear who we picked. So we were pretty close. I watched a crazy freaking documentary. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's called The Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal. Have you heard anything about this?
I feel like I've seen it being talked about. Watched it.
So essentially, like, I'm not going to go into huge detail. It is a family in South Carolina, and they are, they're like I don't know what the correct term is. Pretty much they're like, they've been lawyers. Like grandpa to, whatever, like great-grandpa to grandpa to dad. And then the son's going to follow in foot, like lawyers, and they have like a lot of money, and like they have like 1,000-acre area, and then like a couple of houses and whatever. And they pretty much like run this town. And it's like most shows where you see like the rich entitled brat that does all this bad shit and gets away with it because you'll call daddy or grandpa or somebody and they'll fix it and make it all go away. That's essentially what this is. There's this kid, and he would get in trouble, and he would literally, instead of calling 911, they would call grandpa or dad, and they would handle it. Well, he ends up having like a boating accident where he's like 3 times over the drinking limit. He crashes a boat, and a bunch of them get messed up, but one girl doesn't come up, and they can't find her. She goes missing, and then I think it's like 5 or 6 days or something later, they find her. And obviously she's passed away, and they try to pin it on another kid that was in the boat. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and that's like the scratch of the surface. And then it goes back to like other incidents that happen where people have died or housemaids have died and all this shit that's went down, and it's been like covered up and done. And it's a really interesting documentary, and it just shows how damn corrupt these people are, and also flaws in our judicial system, like how all that is, because they would go to court and like just get away with shit, and it's nuts. It's on Netflix. It's I forget how many episodes, 3 or 4. Like, it's not terribly long. It's like a limited series, but it's an interesting little documentary. But we watched that, and then yeah, that's been about it. That's all I got this week. Nothing too crazy.
All right. Well, this week for me, similarly slow, I guess, just because of been going on IRL at the time of at this recording. But I did finish watching season 3 of The Wire, and I can report that season 3 of The Wire ended well. I enjoyed the progression of the characters. I liked what I saw. The writing for this show continue to be really good, and that's what draws me in. I will say the first season, just if I had to rank them so far, it kind of goes 1, 2, 3 with the seasons of how good they are. First season, you really have a really good sense of what you're getting into with the show, the characters, where they are in life, where they're going. You kind of have like a main character that you follow, who is Jimmy McNulty, detective. And then in season 2, we follow McNulty a lot, but they kind of spread the spotlight out to a lot of other characters and the way that it moves. And you also get a weird kind of it's a very strange vibe that you get with some of the characters that McNulty has been with for a while, and that kind of bleeds over into season 3, and then you get new villains and whatnot in season 3, and old villains getting taken care of from that season. So it's I really enjoy it, but like if for an example, if I were going to give season 1 a 10, season 2 would be like an 8.5, and then season 3 would be a 7.5. Like they go down a little bit, but it's still worth watching. The writing is very good. I like the overarching story that they're trying to tell, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the next season and then the final season, season 5. But aside from that, I went to my local library recently and I picked up a new book to read. I don't know if I shared this with you guys last week. Actually, I probably didn't have it then, but I checked out this book
Yeah, you had baby teeth.
called Baby Teeth. Uh, cool. I can't the author's name. Like it's like Zoja Stage, I want to say is how you pronounce it. But anyway, I started reading Baby Teeth. Right now, it's pretty good. It's not necessarily something that I would necessarily pick up, but I do enjoy the progression of the story. I can totally see this being something that starts really well and then starts to dwindle down. I hope that's not the case with this book, but we'll see. As I get further into it, I'll let you guys know. And aside from that, I did finish my very first playthrough of the Resident Evil 4 remake. I actually beat the game last night. I just decided to take some time, buckle down, and then just continue it until I was done. And it's safe to say, like the game's great. Like you said before, I love the game. I love the graphics. I really enjoy the story. And now that I've beat it, I can take the time to think about things I didn't like about the game. And when it comes to gameplay and whatnot, there's nothing to complain about really. It's just, did I do something wrong to make this less enjoyable for myself? And that's pretty much what it boils down to. There is an enemy in the game that I absolutely fucking hate, that I fucking hated when the Resident Evil original in '05 was out. And Sin, you should be getting to that enemy fairly soon. Um, you've played the game before, correct? You've beaten the original version?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not spoiling anything, but there's an enemy that you face later on called Regenerator, and then later an Iron Maiden. Those are the fucking worst enemies to fight in this game. I can't stand them. Meeting them for the first time in this game is like 4 times scarier than it was in the original. Because in the original, you go to a freezer, it crawls out of like a bag or whatever, bam, there you go. But in this one, nah, I'm not even gonna ruin how you meet it in this game. But when I met the creature in this game, I was like, nah, man, fuck that. Mm-mm. I didn't want to go to the area that they were telling me to go to. I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't have what I need. I don't know about this. So I finally sucked it up, did what I needed to do. And the problem is when you meet this creature, you encounter a puzzle like right after. And it took me a while to figure out this damn puzzle. I figured it out. And it was just scary. That's what it is. It was scary for me. And when you face the creature on in the game, it because I hate it that much. Man, this game is fantastic. I loved it. I cannot wait to get into my second playthrough of the game. I think what I'm going to do is do a new game plus, keep all of my stuff, just everything up that I want to, get those achievements, and then I'll play the next playthrough, the third playthrough, on a harder difficulty. I'm going to try out professional mode. I don't know if I'm going to get through that playthrough because it's really hard. I've looked at a few people play it, first time, just give it a shot. It's really, really difficult. Like I said, man, I really like the game. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to go through all the difficulties, see how far I can get, see how long it takes me. I took my sweet time with this playthrough, and it took me a while to get through the game. But like I said, I was kind of walking through a lot of the things. I was looking at a lot of stuff, trying to find all the treasure I could possibly find. So that's what happened. And the other thing I can say, Sin, I don't know how you're playing, but I had a few weapons that I used, and I sold everything else. I used the Red 9, leveled it all the way up. I kept the riot gun, used that the entire time. And the very first rifle that you get in the game, the very first one you get, I used that the entire time. Leveled it up. You get a scope with it for free. That weapon is one of the strongest weapons in the game, and they don't tell you that. You just have to compare the stats. That rifle is the shit, and I love it, and I'm going to probably use it for the rest of my playthroughs. The drawback to that is reloading it takes forever, and until you level it all the way up, and even then, it's still kind of annoying. But like I said, Red 9, that very first rifle that you get, and the riot gun. Those were my 3 guns that I use all the time. Anything else that I had, I either bought it to level it up to sell it, or I immediately sold it because I wasn't going to use it. But that's what I did. I didn't use the Punisher, didn't even grab that one. I was going to need it, which I didn't. And once you get the Red 9, like I knew that was going to be my handgun of choice. So had a lot of fun with this playthrough. Like I said, can't wait to jump into the next one. And that's what I've been doing this week.
Nice. I have the Red 9. I haven't even leveled it up. I think I put it in storage because I just had the basic handgun leveled all the way up.
I'm telling you right now, you're making a mistake.
Not the Punisher, the riot shotgun though. I need to sell or do something with my other shotgun and grab that one instead.
What I can recommend to you, like I'm sure you're already doing this, so this is essentially just for watchers and listeners. If you play the Resident Evil remake, if you have a gun, let's say you have the shotgun, and then you're able to buy a new shotgun. If you're going to buy the new shotgun, sell the old one. Like doesn't matter how much you've put into it, he will buy it from you for what it's worth after your upgrade.
Is the bolt gun any
totally
good?
worth.
I have it and I've never used it.
The bolt thrower to me, and this is me personally, is trash. I hated that gun.
I might just sell
and
that
I sold
gun
it
then because
immediately.
I haven't used it and I don't really know when I'll use it.
The only thing that the bolt thrower is useful for is if you're fighting a strong enemy that a whole lot, and you use the mines, I think, on them. But other than that, the bolt thrower is kind of a piece of shit, man. Like people like it. I fucking hated that weapon. I sold it almost immediately. Like I said, I just used my handgun, my shotgun, my rifle. Once I got the riot gun, I didn't need anything else. And then when you get the the Red 9, then you're good. A lot of people will talk about how strong the magnums are in that game, like Killer 7 and what have you. I didn't use the Magnum the entire playthrough my first time. I didn't need it. I mean, I had the Red 9 leveled all the way up. I had a rifle that was pretty high leveled, and I had a rifle that had a scope on it. So that's literally all I needed the entire game. It is possible for you to beat the entirety of the game with just the handgun, but I didn't want to do that. Like using a and if you find that's too hard for you, you can take the cheap way out if you want and use a rocket launcher, which I think I did that at one point. I just used a rocket launcher because I was just trying to get through the game, and I was like, "Here, fuck it, let's end this and move on." So I did that when it came to fighting. What's his name? Couldn't stand this dude. Salazar. I think in this game they don't call him Salazar much; they call him Ramon. But yeah. So the other thing that I can say that I didn't like about this game, like it doesn't hurt the game at all, doesn't affect my overall score for the game. But some of the redesigns for characters I liked a lot less than their original. So like for an example, Ramon or Salazar, I liked his original design much more than his new one. And when it comes to Sadler, his is pretty similar, but there are changes that you'll see towards the end of the game. I liked his original look a lot more, but I really enjoyed a lot of the redos for the characters. We already know what Ada looks like because we played Resident Evil 2, the remake. Luis looks about the same. He's changed a little. I like his old voice better, but I think it's just nostalgia speaking. And if you didn't buy any of the DLC, once you complete the game and look at it, you can replace the music with the old school soundtrack if you want. You can buy that DLC. I didn't do that, but I'm really curious to do it because I remember liking a lot of those background tracks. But man, like I said, dude, I love the game. If I had to rate it right now, I'd probably give it 9.5 or a solid 10. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to play it again. And I'm probably going to start that tonight. So
nice.
Moving on.
Nice. All right. Well, it is time. Actually, before we get into it, let me check. We had a comment about favorite WrestleMania match of all time. Something we talked about last podcast. And I wanted to reference that because, like I said, we'd love to hear from you guys. And I don't know what just happened. We lost video with Christian. Technical issues. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I don't know what just happened there. We have completely lost Christian for some reason. all the things are breaking. Okay, but I'm gonna reference that real quick. Technical issues, gotta love it. Happening yet again. Yet again, issues are ongoing with this. Yeah, love recording. So okay. Episode chat on the inside said his favorite Mania match ever has to be Edge versus Mick Foley when they went through the flaming table. That's a good one. That's a good reference. That one I think helped solidify Edge as this he was tougher and like a badass kind of thing. So that's a really good match too. The hardcore legend Mick Foley. But not sure what's going on with Christian right now. Let's see if we can't get him back in here real quick. Let me see what we can do. Let me see. Hopefully we can get him back. I apologize. If you're watching on YouTube, super sorry. Oh, we might be getting him back. I don't know what happened there.
That sucked.
Okay, maybe he's coming back. And I think he's back. All right. So, I think we got it fixed. I think we got that fixed. Hold on. Let me get this back. Boom. Everything's back. So if you're watching on YouTube, you got to see the technical difficulties live and in person. It's always fun. And if you were listening, I apologize. But we did. Christian, just to catch you up, I said on the inside posted an episode chat that his favorite match was Mick Foley versus Edge, where they went through the flaming table, which is a good one.
Nice.
That was a really good one. It made Edge a badass. It kind of solidified him as like being a tough character. Like not only was he like he was built up, he was a heel and everything, but it showed his toughness. Like he could fight, he could handle like being in a real like vicious fight. So it was a good match. I like that one. But the meat and potatoes, again, apologies about the technical issues. Meat and potatoes this episode, we figured it'd be fun to do another list. And that list, because Christian keeps ducking me in Mortal Kombat, is Mortal Kombat. We're going to list our top 10 favorite Mortal Kombat characters. So this should be fun. This should be really fun.
I think so.
I'm not going to lie. This is kind of a tough list. Like, I'll say probably my top 4 are easy. But once I go through 5 through 10, I can honestly argue myself into moving people around. And I'm having to find reasons for them not to be in the list. And it sucks. Like, there's a couple that literally I'm like, yeah, I really like that character. That could be a top 10. But then I have to think of, like... So the way I'm ranking them is not necessarily based on their story and stuff. It's more, is it a character I, really enjoy playing, I've always really liked or tend to gravitate towards, or is it just a really cool character, cool moves and stuff like that, whether or not it's one that's in my rotation or not? Like, it's tough, man. It's tough. I have some honorable mentions. But what?
The way that I did mine really quick, I tried really hard not to judge them based off of the lore, because some characters that I like get shafted really fucking hard in the lore. So what I did was I literally took the top 10 characters that I will always play in any MK title. So these are the characters that are, no matter what, going to be in my rotation. They're the most fun for me. I like their look. I like their moves. Like, I just like the character in general. So to kind of help you guys, the listeners primarily, understand what I'm getting at, when I list my favorite Mortal Kombat characters, I'm trying really hard not to just name all the ninjas, because, like...
Bro, that's hard. That's actually dead-ass super hard to do.
Yeah, because, I mean, I could do my top 10 favorite ninjas and that be its own list, right? If I want to just talk about characters that I like, not because they look cool, but because I really like playing these characters, this is what I have to do. So, are there ninjas on my list? Sure. How could there not be?
Yeah, it's
on my list, but it's not full of them. So there we go. But yeah, you said I don't have any honorable mentions actually, and you said you do. I could probably come up with a billion honorable mentions, and that's mainly why I didn't do it. But if you guys want to hear what my honorable mention characters are, I might say them here, or just send me a DM. Let me know who you want. Let me know if you want to know, and I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm going to throw one out there. I'm getting honorable mention, and it really kind of hurts my heart to not put him in top 10, because I love this character. And I'm gonna sit here and say honorable mention, and then I'm gonna talk myself into switching like my number 10 and putting this one in there or something. Okay, let me throw one that. All right, Jax. I freaking love Jax, and I love Jax for multiple reasons. One thing I really love now is his arms now in like the more recent games, how they have the glow to them, and just beating the piss out of people with him. Because Jax is just like a grappler. Dude, he's so fun. Jax gets honorable mention for me.
All right. I will say, just to comment quickly on what you're saying, I I like Jax's arms more how they used to be,
Really?
and that's because I'm a fan of not like MK like MK2 and shit like that. It's more so like I really like the sleek metal look that's in the newer games. I know that so for an example, guys, if you're playing, MK11, you have Jax and you have past Jax. I'm always gonna go for past Jax. That's my favorite look for him with the purple fucking tights with the black streak, and then he's got the sleek, really nice, pretty metal arms. He looks like
I just like the
Colossus
glow. I
from
like the
X-Men.
heating
I
up
love that.
aspect on the arms, like in the new ones, like how it starts glowing up his arm, like the friction or whatever in the hell, the heat.
Yeah, when you get to does your costumes and whatnot, taking and adding things, you start having like the American flag arms and all that stuff. Like, I can care less. Leave all of that. Give me the classic sleek metal any day. But yeah, man, that you said that was your honorable mention. That's a good honorable mention. I respect that.
I like Jax. Another one that kind of
Jax is a
hurts
great
my
character.
soul not to put in my top 10 a little bit because I love him. Not always necessarily a character I play. I do play him some, but it's not like one of my main rotations. I will say I like him more in 11 than I have in some of the other games. And that's Johnny Cage. Old Nutbuster
Nice.
himself. Like, I like Johnny Cage. I had to talk myself out of having him in the top 10, sadly, and I kind of regret myself. I regret my decision a little bit, but honestly, I'm gonna say my top 10, and then literally I could change so many. Like that, it's a problem. I will say though, like I said before, 1 through 4, yeah, I'm probably not changing nothing. Like I'm pretty set. Like those are some of my favorite MK characters, hands down. But once I get to like 9 and 10, I could be very fluid with for sure, and some of the others too. But we want to start. We just want to go in. I can do honorable mentions. I have more we can talk about, but it will take away from some of the suspense of my top 10 if I keep going through honorable mentions. So we want to go in.
Yeah, let's get it started.
All right, who you got number 10?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Let's let the Dreadlock Wizard himself go first.
Alrighty then. For me, coming in at 10, I got Sonya Blade on the list. Sonya Blade is one of the characters that in every single iteration of MK that comes out, I always play her. I always at least try to learn a couple of combos. I absolutely use her fatalities because they're really interesting. But I could have easily put her higher on the list. But like I said, when you start having a bunch of characters that have things like when you have all these ninjas and characters that do all these crazy, ridiculous moves, it starts to push other characters down to the bottom. But I had to show Sonya Blade some love because, like I said, in every single game that she's in, I always use her. No matter whether I use her a lot or a little bit, I always use her character. So definitely Sonya Blade comes in number 10 for me. I fucking love her. She was one of the first badass female characters that I experienced in any type of media, to be honest. Because before Sonya, at least for my generation, all of the women were damsels, and Sonya was so far removed from that. So playing the games and then seeing her in the movie be a fucking badass and destroy Kano, I was like, her, that one. I love her. I want her in my life. Her every time. And her original costume is so fucking badass. Like, I know it's like essentially a workout costume, but I don't give a damn, dude. It's great. I love it. And when we get into later games and she starts wearing like her kind of military garb, it's cool for her character because it makes sense. But I'm always going to gravitate towards that original. But that's me. That's my number 10.
Nice. That's a solid choice. I like Sonya. For me, number 10, Quan Chi. Because not necessarily a character
I knew 100% he was going to be on your list. He was almost on my list. And if I had honorable mentions, he would absolutely be on there. But I don't always play him all the time. Sometimes I just play him because he looks cool. But, that wasn't a part of
in 10,
what
right?
I was doing.
That's the most recent one?
He was in 10.
I played him some in 10.
X, yeah.
I got decent with him in 10. He's not always been a character that's been heavy in my rotation. He looks freaking awesome. He does have pretty cool moves. Yeah, he's top 10. He's a cool character. Cool character, cool one to have.
Got you, man.
All right, number 9.
That's good, though.
Do you want me to go 9 or do you want to go 9?
I'll go ahead and go 9 real quick. Since we were talking about it, it's really funny that we talked about this character already, and it's actually the partner to my last character. Jax comes in at number 9 for me. Jax is another character that no matter what iteration of the game I'm playing, I always give him a try. I always end up playing his character and trying to learn at least one combo. And I will say with Jax, like I've talked about him ad nauseum already, but one thing I didn't say that I love about his character is in this game, in all of the games, if you learn the gotcha grab combo, it makes you feel fucking boss. So yeah, man, I absolutely 100% had to have him on the list. Jax comes in strong at a number 9 for me.
Strong number
Original
9.
costumes also my favorite.
Oh my god. All right, number 9 for me. Old Teethy McTeetherson herself, Melina. Love her design. She looks so freaking crazy. She's fun. And it was hard for me to exclude her. I was trying to find reasons to exclude her from the list to put some others in, and I couldn't do it. She's an OG.
Couldn't do it.
She's been good for so long. Well, not really good, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Well, I guess that brings us to number 8.
That's right.
Like I said, this list it was difficult for me, but I think that I feel really good about what I have, and I'm going to keep the characters where they are. I can't say the same once MK12 releases sometime this year, but right now I feel really good about my list. I don't want to change anything. Number 9 for me is a favorite character, Scorpion, coming in number 8 for me.
Scorpion.
I know a lot of people listening and watching are thinking to themselves, how is Scorpion so low on the list? Why would he be number 8? Why isn't he in the top 3? This is why. While I like Scorpion, I like how Scorpion looks way more than I like how he plays. Scorpion is the favorite character of Ed Boon. Makes perfect sense. But Scorpion typically is the first problem that I have in every single MK. I like being competitive in MK with people, doing tournament stuff. And Scorpion's always the character that has a long range move that's really fucking annoying to get around sometimes. He has a teleport that's really fucking annoying to get around sometimes. And he usually has a really easy to learn leg combo, some kind of kick combo. And it's really annoying. And so Scorpion, even though I think that he is an annoying character to play against, he's very fun to play. But he's also not the most fun to play. And he's not my favorite ninja either. So he's a little bit lower on the list. But he's still on the list because he's fucking Scorpion. Like I said earlier, if you don't have those certain ninjas on your list, then what are you doing? But definitely Scorpion, number 8 for me. He's a great character. He's in every single game. He rightfully so. He deserves to be in every game. If he was ever not in an MK, it'd be a problem for me, 100%. But yeah, Scorpion comes in at a strong number 8. What about you?
So my number 8 would actually be the person that was trained by Scorpion, which would be Takada. Colin Takeda. Sometimes I always butcher his name. But yeah, he was introduced in MK10. He's the son of Kenshi, right? And trained by Hanzo, Scorpion. Right. And he's freaking fun. I really loved him. I had a ton of fun playing him. He was definitely one of the ones in my rotation in that game. He was a good balance of the two characters, and I had a blast with him. So, cool design, fun character. He gets into the number 8 spot for me.
Yeah, I understand. I will say Takeda's not on my list. I call him Takeda. Takeda's not on my list.
I'm not sure what the correct
and
way
he's
to
not on
say
my
it
list.
is. Takeda or Takada. Like, I always flip-flop on it because I'm not 100% how to pronounce it.
The way that I learned to say it was Takeda because it rhymes with Sakeda, so that's why I said that.
Oh, my God.
And it makes sense looking at it. But to Takeda, like the thing is, he's only been in one game. He's only been playable in one game, and that's not enough for me to put him in my top 10 characters list. He was fun to play. He looks cool for sure, but he's not my favorite. And he seems to be the rightful choice of a character if they ever didn't put Scorpion in a game. So, for an example, in K12, if they feel like Scorpion isn't necessary to be in the main roster anymore, Takeda is the perfect character to put in the game to give you the same Scorpion feels. He has the harpoon, he's got that. He's got the ninja look down. He's got the teleport. You know what I mean? He's trained by him, so obviously his move list will be very much like Scorpion, but it'll be a little younger, a little more juvenile, probably a little less brutal and a little more fun. So I totally get that, but he left an impression on me for sure, but not enough for me to put him in my top 10. But I understand that though. He's, like I said, he's a fun character. I guess that brings us to number 7. Is that correct?
Yep. Number 7.
My number 7. Oh man. So when I made this list, I had to be super, super, super objective, right? And I think that I did that. My number 7 is Liu Kang.
Is who?
Liu Kang's a lot of people's favorite character. Yeah, Liu Kang. Liu Kang's a lot of people's favorite character, and I understand why. He started he started out to be the face of the games, of the story. He's like the chosen one, right? I totally understand it. But the reason why he's number 7 for me is because I usually always play Liu Kang because he's fun to play, but he's fun to play because he has, the utilities you need. He has a fireball, he has a flying kick move, he has the bicycle kick, which is one of the most fun moves to pull off on someone if you off correctly, especially if you're playing the later games and you amplify that move. But the reason why he's not my favorite, like he's not in the top 5, for example, is because Liu Kang is typically, like Scorpion, a character that people would choose if they really just want to pull a win out of their hat. You know what I mean? Like bicycle kick, fireball, bicycle kick, fireball. You keep doing that, you're bound to win at least 40% of the matches you play, right? So that's more of the reason why he's not necessarily in higher up on my favorites list. But I remember playing Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and in that story, he dies at the beginning of the game before you actually get to play, and he's not playable in the game. And I remember being pissed that he wasn't playable until you beat the story and you do a couple things, then you get like the zombie version of him. I remember being like, get the zombie version, and that's cool because he's in the game, but it's not Liu Kang. Like, I don't like this. And then later on, when you're playing like Revenant Liu Kang, I was like, he's still Liu Kang, but he's not. And I remember being kind of annoyed by that. So when I got to play, like in the most recent, when you're playing the story and you get to play as Liu Kang that's not a Revenant, like it feels good. And then obviously you know what happens with his character later on in the story and how that progresses. It's really cool and fun. But like I said, I'm trying not to just judge characters on how cool they look and how cool their moves are and just how much I actually play them, how much I actually care about them being in the game. I do care about Liu Kang being in the game. Every time he's not in the game, I feel it and I don't like it. So that's why he's such a strong number 7 for me.
Number 7. I'm going with the Aussie Kano, the just absolute sleazeball character. He's always so fun to play. He's so just grimy and just bad, just all around bad. But it's fun, especially in the newer games. He's fun. He was fun with his little role in the early games, in the first ones, and all that. Just have to show love for Kano. And yeah, keeping it simple on my description, but Kano is always one that I'll tinker with. He may not stay in the rotation, but I'll throw him in every now and then and have a good time with him. Sleazeball at its best.
Well, I guess moving on to our number six. My number six to kind of keep the momentum going. Number six for me is Shao Kahn. I fucking love that character. He's one of the first villain character, like full on villains that I just really took a shine to. I really enjoy his character. I like the design. I like his moves. If he is playable in a game, I'm going to play him even if he's not my top character, I'm definitely going to play him. And just having Kara Tagawa voice him in this latest game, reprising his role essentially from the Mortal Kombat movie, the original. I love that. I play that skin with him all the time. It was so much fun, and I really, really, really hope, fingers crossed, that they bring him back in MK12 and they have him voice the character again because that made my day 100%, and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, coming in at a very strong number six, Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn's also one of the pettiest people to fight too, like
I
boss
said
fight.
Shao Kahn. I said Shao Kahn, but I meant Shang Tsung. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
Shang
god.
Tsung, not Shao Kahn.
So now, okay, yeah, I'll take that back then. Shao Kahn, one of the pettiest bosses that fight ever. He would get on my nerves so damn bad.
Yeah,
Shang Tsung,
absolutely.
Shang Tsung is a good one. The sorcerer.
I love Shang Tsung, dude. He is one of the other characters. Like there's a lot of characters in the MK universe that rock yellow really hard, and he's definitely one of them, especially with his older costume designs.
Yeah.
But Shang Tsung is dope. I love stealing people's souls. I love what he says. I love his move set in general.
Your soul is mine.
Your brother's soul is mine. Like I just love it, dude. I love everything about his character. I love how he's one of those villains that sometimes gets jobbed out, but it makes sense later on. And he's conniving, man. Motherfucker, dude. I love his character so much so. He's not as slimy as someone like Kano, but he's definitely a freaking problem, dude. He is a problem 100%. Love his character. Every single time he's a playable character, I use him and I try to get, pretty decent with him. So definitely a strong number six for me. Really love Shang Tsung so much.
My number six wants you all to know that you are one, but we are many. And I'm going with REMAKE as number six. Dude, he's fun. I got my ass whooped with him a lot. Shout out to H.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you went Super Saiyan on me all of a sudden with him. It's like everything clicked. But dude, he's a dope character. He's really a cool character. I really like him. I try to learn him, obviously. I get handed by H. Fun story, we were playing MKX on, I think, release night. It was me, H, and the missus. And we got pizza, and we were all just like doing battles against each other, just local battles, having fun, just all chilling, hanging out, having a good time. Those who've played fighting games or like fighting games, you know what I'm talking about. It's a blast. You just kind of talk a little shit. You have fun. It's just a good atmosphere. And everybody was pretty close. Me and H were going back and forth. And then it's like everything just clicked. And his RAC went to like the next level. And he just started beating the damn brakes off of me. And I was like, what the hell just happened? He's like, I got it now. I understand. And these combos are coming out of nowhere. Christian, you've actually played H, right? Didn't we play in Injustice?
Yeah. Played him in Injustice.
He's good.
And man, that's a whole nother list, man. I can't wait to get on to the Injustice list.
But yeah, REMAKE gets my number 6 spot. Had to give it to him. Had to show him some love. So we go to our top
That's good,
5.
man. I respect that. Top five, man. What I can say about my top 5 is the same shit I said about the lower half of this list, man. I was trying to be super objective, trying to say characters that I absolutely play with, and the higher up we get on this list, just let you know how much I respect these characters, how much I really like them, and how much I play with them. So 5 and up, these are characters that if they're playable in the game, not only am I playing them, but I am trying to learn what I can learn. Like I'm trying to learn the combos, I'm trying to learn frame rates, everything. I'm trying to get it down. So coming in at number 5 for me is Goro. Goro is one of those characters who can be extremely petty, but if you actually learn how to use him, he's fun as hell. In every game that he's playable in, he's super fun to use. A lot of people get really scared because like, oh, Goro, you're gonna jump on me the whole game. You're gonna keep doing that. But nah, man, if you learn a really good combo with Goro, like it ends the game for you. Like he reminds me of playing, like, for an example, for the Injustice players. If you guys played the original Injustice, if you learn how to play like Solomon Grundy, for an example, or Injustice 2, learn how to play Grodd. those really big, heavy hitter characters, they're really fun to really beat the hell out of somebody with if you learn their combos and not just their special moves over and over again. But Goro's definitely number 5 for me. The last time he was playable in the game, which was Mortal Kombat X, I believe.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think if you pre-ordered the game, he was downloadable content at the beginning of the game, just like Shao Kahn was for MKX or MK11, excuse me. But yeah, man, I played Goro so much in MKX. I learned how to do so much with him, and it was a blast, dude. People hated it, but I had a good time, and that's why he's number 5 for me. What about you?
Solid choice. Another OG. Goro's been around for a hot minute. Coming in at number 5 for me is Smoke. Old Smoke himself. Dude, he had one of the craziest fatalities at the time to me. I just remember it being so freaking cool. It was what in the hidden fatality in like I think it was MK3 where you blew up the world or
Mhm.
something. Wasn't that Smoke?
Yeah, yeah, I believe
I
it
just
was.
remember like finding that and doing it and being like, "Oh my gosh." It was awesome. The little vanishing, like the little Batman smoke thing come up and all kinds of stuff. Like another one of those ninjas that was just so damn cool. So I would always mess with Smoke every time he was in a game. So Smoke takes my number 5 spot.
I think Smoke. So full transparency, Smoke is not on my list. And Smoke's not on my list because, like I said, I was trying not to add a bunch of ninjas, and Smoke is one of the cheapest ninjas in all of MK. He's super fun to play. His character design is awesome. I really do like the character, but typically, if I'm playing Smoke or somebody is playing Smoke against me, it's because they're trying to end something. I've already won a couple of matches, and they pull out Smoke because they know that teleport is so quick, it's hard to block, and there we go. But personal vendetta, I guess. Moving on, my number 4 spot is actually a ninja, my personal favorite ninja, and that is Sub Zero. It was pretty difficult not to put Sub Zero at number 3 or even 2 or even 1 for me because every single game I use Sub Zero. I will say I use him a lot less now. Um, there are some things that they do with his character in a lot of the later MK games that I just really don't fucking gel with, and it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to play. I remember the very first MK game that I played Sub Zero and liked him less was probably Deadly Alliance. And I think Deadly Alliance was the first one where you had to switch your fighting styles and whatnot. And there were just a bunch of moves that Sub Zero had that I just didn't really care for, and it made him less fun to play. I still played him. I thought he looked cool, and he's still one of my favorite characters. He will always be one of my favorite characters. But I like some games he's just not as fun, and that gets annoying. But as far as ninjas go, he is absolutely my favorite. He'll always be my favorite. He holds a special place in my heart. And yes, his original costume is 100% the best in my opinion. But yeah, Sub Zero, love him to death. He's number 4 for me.
Awesome choice. My number 4 is actually the original Sub Zero, which would be Bihan Noob
Mhm.
Saibot. Because he's, first off, he's the original Sub Zero reincarnated, which he looks so freaking badass. His moves are fun. I really like him in 12 playing him. I've liked him in other games playing him. And, dude, it's so good. He's just so good. And he's a former Sub Zero. It's sick. Really, really enjoy it. So, he takes my number 4 spot. Keeping it short and sweet. So, that's my number 4.
Understandable. Noob is also not on my because, in
Hater.
my opinion, Noob is amazing, but super freaking annoying as well. But he's a dope character. I don't really have too many negative things to say. Noob is dope, and I understand why he's on anybody's list, especially near the top. But my number 3, because I believe we're on number 3
Yep.
now.
Top
Yeah,
3.
my number 3 character is top 3. All right, so I have to go back on my words just from the last bit of my list. I did lie to you. Sub Zero isn't my favorite ninja. He is my second favorite ninja. I do have a ninja that I like more than Sub Zero, and every time this character is playable, he's in my top 3 rotation, which makes sense because he's in my top 3 here. But that ninja is Cyrax. I fucking love Cyrax. I like the way that he looks. I like his weird little dread tentacle things that he has. I like the way that he looks before he was a cyborg. I like his fatalities most of the time. I like his move set. He's just a cool character to me, and I really, really enjoy playing him. Obviously, more so than Sub Zero. And I remember now why I like him more than Sub Zero to play, and that's because even though Cyrax isn't available in every iteration of MK, he is available. I love his character. I can't say the same for Sub Zero. He is in every iteration of Mortal Kombat, but it doesn't mean I necessarily like his move set or his design or his voice in every game. But when it comes to Cyrax, he is one ninja that I've never had a complaint about. So I always love to use him. And I was really sad that we couldn't use him in MK11. But here's to hoping that that changes when we get MK12 later this year. Cyrax, like I said, my favorite ninja. I love him. Holding it down for the brothers on my list. And he is, like I said, so much freaking fun to play.
All right. My number 3 is one you already previously stated, and that would be Scorpion. Have to show love for Hanzo. I remember seeing his fatality in one the first time where he pulls off the mask and it's a skull and he burns the person up and everything. And I was just like, what is this shit? What is this sorcery? This is so cool. Because at the time, fighting games did not have stuff like this. And so Scorpion will always hold a place. Hanzo's story is always cool. I enjoy playing him. He can be extremely petty to play. I will say that. I've played a lot of people that are super petty with him. If you get his combos and stuff down, he can be really fluid and fun, but he can be extremely petty. But I have to show love for him. I always enjoy him. He's depending on the game, he can be in my rotation, and sometimes he can't. Some of them not as crazy of the style. It just depends on the game pretty much. But he's always one I check out, and I have to show love to Scorpion.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. I get that. So now that we're in our top 2, I feel like before I name the second favorite character, I have to say this is another one of those characters that every time they are available, I play as them, and I really like them. It was difficult to not put this character at number 1, but when it comes down to it, the character that I do have at number 1 is number 1 for a good reason, and I think that Sin, once I get to my number 1, you know who it is. You've had to fight that character many times. But coming in number 2 for me, I have always been a huge fan of Nightwolf.
Ooh.
Nightwolf is a G, dude. He was the first character I saw with an animality. He was the first character that I played in a game that was different. I loved having a native character in a game who wasn't just the tip. Like, he was pretty much stereotypical, but not really. I just enjoyed him. His character design, his moveset was awesome. What he could do was really cool. He had moves that could do anything. He had long range. He had short range. He had that charge tackle that was really cool that could get you out of a hairy situation when you needed it. I really enjoyed his fatality as well, and it just made sense. I just really, really, really liked his character. And like I said, man, every single time Nightwolf is in a game, you bet your ass he's going to be high up in my rotation, if not my main to play. So I can't say enough good about Nightwolf. I love Nightwolf. I've always loved Nightwolf. Nightwolf is dope, and nobody could change my mind. I will die on that hill.
Okay. Nightwolf's a solid character. Which MK did he come out in first? Was it 2 or 3? I can't remember which one his first appearance was. 3? Okay. Nightwolf's solid. I do remember the animality. He had like a wolf attack too, didn't he? Could you throw like a shadow wolf or something? It was dope. Dude, he is a dope character. My number 2.
I remember.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it. No, it's cool. I want to hear this number 2.
I'm torn. My number 2 could easily be my number 1. Easily. I'm very torn. But my number 2 is the one, the only, Kenshi. Freaking love him so much.
Nice.
Blind, telekinesis stuff. Just, oh my God, he's so fun. I love playing as him. And he could easily be one of my top characters. Like, he could be number 1.
Well,
any game he's in, I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him a lot. He's just so badass. And, yeah. Kenshi takes the number 2 spot. Almost number 1. Almost.
Okay.
And I could probably argue him at number 1.
All right. Well, speaking of number 1, I'm gonna let you guess once who you think my number 1 is, because I think that you know who it is. I'm gonna see if you can guess correctly.
Honestly, I'm trying to think if we've even played Mortal Kombat against each other.
We have.
Jackie Briggs.
Nope. Was that a real answer? Or were you just saying that?
Sorry, if the podcast can hear it, there's a screaming child in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it now. Hopefully not, but he has been going ham. Sounds like he's in there playing Mortal Kombat.
He might be.
I actually don't know. I can't think with the child in the background.
No problem.
I can't remember who you like.
My
I don't even know what Mortal Kombat we played against each other. To be honest, we haven't played 11.
It's all good.
Did we play 10?
It's all good. I think we played a lot of the newer gen Mortal Kombat's together. Whether we played them for a long period of time or not, we definitely played them. We didn't play them as much as we played Injustice 1 and 2, but we definitely played. But that's a story for another day. My favorite MK character of all time. Like I said, my favorite character could have easily been Nightwolf, but I have more fun matches with character than I do with Nightwolf. And that character is the one, the only Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, really?
I love Johnny Cage. Yeah, dude. I'm a huge Johnny Cage fan. The only game that I remember playing as Johnny Cage that I didn't have as much fun was the very first MK, and that's only because his character design was so weak, but his gameplay was very fun. And once you learned how to use him, it was really cool. Love hitting people in the balls. Loved making a fool of people. Loved how good character was. I love his shadow kick, which was fantastic. I love that shadow uppercut that he has, which is also fantastic. He's got full of range of abilities. He's got something for zoning. He's got something for up close. He can get out of situations if he needs to. He's quick enough. He's strong enough. I really like this character. The only thing that gets on my nerves about Johnny Cage, aside from him being like the joke of everything, is in the games when they gave him the giant Johnny tattoo. Like I was like, God damn, that's a lot. It kind of reminded me of Steve-O getting a tattoo of himself on his ass. Like that's the vibe I was getting from that. And I was like, I know that Johnny Cage is kind of a joke character, but he's also a really good fighter. Like he can fight. He's good. But like I said, he's a joke character and he's really fun. And I really enjoy him. I play him in every single Mortal Kombat. He's typically my number 1 character if it's not Nightwolf, as you can tell by my list here. And he's one of the only characters that I know that's typically never DLC, but he's always super fun to play on the main roster. And a lot of people don't give him a chance because he's goofy. But I love Johnny Cage. He's one of my favorite characters. Whenever they make this new Mortal Kombat film, whenever that starts filming, we heard already that Johnny Cage is going to be in it. And that was, aside from the main character that we got, Cole, whatever his name was, I really wanted Johnny Cage to be in that movie, and he wasn't, and it hurt me because Johnny Cage, like I said, is my favorite character in Mortal Kombat history. So can't wait to play MK12. Johnny Cage better be in the fucking game because, like I said, he's my favorite.
I think you have to have Johnny.
That's my number 1, guys.
I don't think you can exclude him in MK12. Like Johnny's one of the ones I feel like has to
absolutely
be in
my
pretty much every
favorite.
game.
I mean, I guess if he weren't in the game, they could lean more to Cassie, but Cassie plays a lot more like Sonya than she does Johnny to me. She does have his shadow abilities for sure, but it's not the same, man. She's goofy like Johnny is, and she has the shadow abilities like he does, but
that's about it.
Cassie to me is more so of a Sonya stan than a Johnny stan. She's just a funny Sonya. That's pretty much how that goes. And I want Johnny. So
fair.
Yeah, man, that's my number 1.
All right. Solid pick. Love Johnny. My number 1, and I picked it because ever since the first game, this has been my favorite character. I will say in the later games, he's not always one that stays heavily in the rotation. Most times he is, but there's been 1 or 2 games where I just didn't like how he felt. and how he played. So I didn't use him as much, and that is Sub-Zero. Freaking love Sub-Zero. Always have since the first game. It was always my go-to character. In any of the Mortal Kombats, I would go to Sub-Zero pretty much first. Just the whole ice thing, everything, the blue ninja costume. Like you said, the retro, the old one is fire. I love it. I do remember the first time I saw, I can't think of his name right now. It wasn't Bihan. It was the other one that had the scar on the eye when they unmasked him.
Oh yeah,
I think I was in 3.
Yeah, he was in 3. His name is no,
I can't think of it.
Dang.
I remember seeing that and be like, oh, that's dope. Look at the scar. And like, he looks cool. And then I found out all the other stuff. And yeah, Sub-Zero takes my number 1 spot. Kenshi could easily take it.
Kuai Liang is his name.
But I had to give it to Sub-Zero. I went heavy on ninjas because, dude, ninjas are so sick. I always tend to lean towards the ninjas. But there's a ton of characters that I still rotate. Johnny's one that as the games have gotten older, kind of like you said, the first game, Johnny to me, I didn't play Johnny a lot in that one, but as the games, like the newer games, I've played Johnny more and more. Like, and I've enjoyed him more and more. Some honorable mentions, Cyrax that you named. Rain got honorable mention. I haven't played a lot of Rain, though, honestly, but I did think he was cool. Kung Lao, love Kung Lao. He's fun. Cabal is another one that's pretty cool, and I enjoy. Frost, Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, and then Reptile. Reptile would have been top 10. You
said Frost.
But they shit on Reptile, I feel like, in these later iterations of all the stuff. And it's kind of just went south, and I don't know. I don't like what they've done with him. So he fell.
So you mentioned Frost a second ago as an honorable mention. And the reason why Frost wasn't on my list the reason why Frost wasn't on my list to begin with, is because when Frost first showed up in the game, I loved her. When she had a regular body, she was just Frost. I really, really enjoyed her character. She was actually the first character that I beat the ladder with, like the story, like not the story mode, but that character story. She was the first person I did the ladder with. I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect her to be so treacherous. Like, she was evil from the get-go, and I wasn't expecting her to be evil because she was being trained by Sub-Zero, and also I felt like we had enough evil women in the game, so we were going to get some good ones. But that wasn't the case. She's evil as shit. And I really didn't like her in MK11. I didn't like the fact that she was a cyborg ninja. I didn't like the fact that her move set was kind of contingent upon her popping her own head off and shit and it blowing up. I didn't really enjoy her gameplay. I love the way that she looks. I think that she looks clean as fuck. I enjoy that. But just playing her character, she's very difficult to learn. I didn't really like the way her combos were, and I didn't have a whole lot of fun just trying to utilize her in this. But yeah, man, that was me. But to move on, man, I really enjoyed this list. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And yeah, man, we should do more of these for sure.
Nice. That was a fun list. It was a lot of fun. It was nice going down memory lane with Mortal Kombat stuff. I definitely want to do more lists like this. They've been fun conversations. And it's nice us not knowing each other's lists going in, because then we can kind of, I don't know, we're surprised like the listeners finding out what we pick. My list is definitely fluid in parts of it where I could argue some of my honorable mentions get in there, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with my list. Pretty satisfied. Hopefully MK12 brings us back a lot of our favorites and some other characters in, and we have a good roster to play with. But we would love to know, what is your list? Who is your all-time favorite Mortal Kombat character? Or give us your top 3. I'd love to know who you guys pick out there. Who's in your rotation? Who do you like? Tell us why. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, but that is pretty much it for this episode. It is time that we
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
whiskey.
As we go to the last call question. And this week's last call, we're going to keep it in the Mortal Kombat theme, as we want to know, what are the top 3 Mortal Kombat DLC characters for you? Christian, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to do this quickly because I know we're running out of time. So I'm just going to go number 3 for me, top 3. Okay. Coming in number 3, Spawn. I've wanted Spawn in the game since Mortal Kombat started having guest DLC characters. He was finally in MK11, and he did not disappoint. I really enjoyed his character a lot. I didn't necessarily like all the costume choices that they made with him, but I loved having Spawn in the game. Even though I didn't play him a lot, just the fact that he was there made me happy. Number 2, this character typically is a DLC, so I added them to the list. But number 2 for me is Shao Kahn. I know I mentioned him earlier, and this is probably why. Shao Kahn is my second favorite DLC / guest character. I really, really enjoyed his gameplay and his fatalities in the latest game.
He was
I hope that they
surprisingly
bring
fun
him
to
back.
play as. I didn't think I would like him
Yeah,
as much, but he was
absolutely.
actually pretty fun.
I really, really, really liked playing as Shao Kahn in MK11, and I really hope that they bring him back, not just as DLC, but main roster. And number 1, my favorite character, and this was really difficult, mind you, because it would have been so easy for me to just name every horror character in all the games that show up, but the horror characters are more so a novelty. I don't play them as much. Like I did play Jason a bit, but like I wasn't really trying to learn how to be great with these characters. But my favorite DLC guest character of all time in Mortal Kombat right now is Triborg, and that's because that was a really fun way for them to have ninjas in the game without taking up a slot for each ninja. And I had a lot of fun with that character. It was really cool to see how they integrated that into the gameplay with the special moves, with all. And
Uh-oh. Did we lose Christian? We might have lost Christian there. Might have lost him. I don't know. Looks like it's caught up. Okay. So, on that note, we're just going to let Christian be. Oh, and we lost him right there. I don't know what happened, so we are going to have more technical issues. And while I work on that, okay, so that's Christian's top 3 DLC characters of all time. My top 3, hopefully we'll have Christian back here momentarily. Technical issues, gotta love him. So he went, see if I can recap his real quick. He had Triborg, Shao Kahn, and his third one was Spawn. I had to think about that for a minute. Third one was Spawn. Mine are as followed. Number 3, I'm going with Leatherface. He said they're novelty, the horror characters. I freaking am a huge horror fan, so obviously I'm going to get giddy on any of the horror characters. Leatherface takes my number 3 spot. Number 2 spot, who I did play quite a bit. Unlike Christian, I played a lot of Jason. Jason Voorhees from MKX. I played a lot of him. He was actually heavily in my rotation. So Jason takes my number 2 spot. Really, really enjoyed him. And my number 1 goes to Spawn because, like you said, everybody's been waiting on Spawn for a long time. And we finally got him. So I was super excited to play as Spawn. I really enjoyed his playstyle. And I had a blast with him. He looked freaking awesome. And I had to give him the number 1 spot just because we finally got him. Not to mention the voiceover work and stuff was so good. But there's my top 3. Honorable mentions also for this one go to Joker and I would say Kratos also. I didn't get to play Kratos. I'm not even sure which one he was in, but I did see he was listed as a character. Never got to play as Kratos. Did play as Joker. But Joker also goes back to Injustice for me, so I was kind of familiar with him. But I would give them probably my honorable mentions for this one. But, well, and Freddy too. Freddy was in MK9. I would give Freddy Krueger an honorable mention. But Leatherface, Jason, Spawn for me are my top 3. But that's going to do it for this episode. Do really, really apologize for the technical issues. And, yeah. So, with that being said, if you'd like your question to be featured on Sippin With Sin, submit it to our Gilded server. There's a last call section. Just submit your question there. You can join the Gilded server at gilded.gg/Sinister pack in the application put from the pod, and we'll happily accept you. There's a whole section dedicated to the podcast, to all the stuff. Check it out. It's a great way to converse with us, talk about episode chat, what you're drinking, post your Sinister tales, your spooky stories, as well as all the other stuff. You can do all that there, and you can submit your last call question to be featured on the podcast. You can also submit them on our social media site at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can DM us there and hit us up with your last call question, or just comment, talk to us, tell us about Mortal Kombat. Let us know stuff you'd like to hear on the podcast. All that. We love hearing from you guys, and that is a great way to get in touch with us. You can find me on my personal socials at IamSinister TV on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me over streaming on twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, kick.com/IamSinister. You can find me on TikTok at IamSinisterTV. And then my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. Also on my personal YouTube, you can find Sippin With Sin episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time. That's right, every week, episodic. You have a new episode, 8 a.m. Central Time on my personal YouTube. You watch the video version, youtube.com/IamSinister. And you can find the audio versions over on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Overcast, Apple, Anchor. Or I already said Anchor. Yeah, pretty much everywhere it's available. Audio-wise, you can find it. Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Central Time. Rate it 5 stars. Subscribe, follow. Do all the stuff and things to it. It helps us a ton. Share it with a friend. Continue to spread the word about the podcast. We appreciate it. We appreciate seeing the numbers go up. So thank you all so much. And you can find Christian at Horrorverse Pod over on, I believe it's Instagram and Twitch. Then you can find him on TikTok at Christian Vincent. Just his name. Hit us up. Talk to us. Let us know what you think. Again, we apologize about the technical issues. It sucks. It is what it is. We were pushing through. Luckily, it happened the main part at the end of the episode, so it's a great time to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for listening. Do appreciate it. And I get to shut it down. That's right. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. And as Christian would always say, remember these 3 words. Don't get gutted. See you guys next week.